Lelis on the clock to eventually be their only BKB black hole answer. Like the only thing they have to pierce that in the ultra late game scenarios, black hole circumstances is just a clock. And it's a lot of pressure, but we also have seen that work before. We've seen a lot of matches where Clockwork finds the angle, cancels off this investment on the Enigma, and we'll have to see if that's something Shopify Rebellion will be sort of forced to rely on with this lineup. They do have a really quick pace. Again, with the split push coming out from both Artur and Saberlight, they can get a lot of action going early and deny a lot of map space, which will cause issues because Darkseer's going to need farm, Yamsen's going to need farm on the Sven, and if the map shrinks that quick, you're not going to have enough room to get both of them farmed.
Abed's going to be okay. He's going to back out of there. We do actually have a video as well while we have a quick pause going on. We ended up asking Yamsun, how can you tell if you're winning a game? Let's hear from Yamsun.
I think usually if you've like taken a few tier 1s and you win like a big team fight, it usually is like the snowballing point for a lot of teams this patch, because once you win that team fight and you get that map control, because if you've taken tier 1s, it means you can kind of play in whichever jungle you want based on what you're waiting for. It's pretty easy to just keep watching your net worth lead grow. I think teams have gotten pretty good and not just like throwing away parts of the map that the enemy don't deserve.
Well, there you go. A very serious answer from Yamsun, which is kind of ironic, John, because they recently watched that damn Puss in Boots movie and they rated it very highly. I can't take the man seriously anymore.
It's a good film. What do you mean?
It's unbased,
It's an actual, real good film.
It's unbased.
You know, well, you're going to have to watch it sometime, Mike, and you're going to feel some things.
I will not.
Well, then you're just a cold-hearted man, Mike.
I am.
But I guess that's a given because you're Australian.
Nevertheless, we get back underway here for game number 1. I mean, both these drafts are really exciting to watch. I was kind of talking about it when we were doing the introduction, but very excited to see how this game pans out. These are drafts that we have not seen. A lot of heroes we've not seen very often throughout the NA DPC. If I can go back to Saberlight's Enigma there for a moment, I have been tuning in quite a bit to Saberlight's YouTube channel because he does pump out a lot of content these days. This man plays a disgusting Enigma. Like, he is a really damn strong Enigma player.
Oh yeah, and it's just going to be really hellish to lane against that. The fact that your range creep's always going to be gone. It's going to be a little bit tougher for Yamsun to, get that free farm he'd want. At the same time, laning phase for Enigma is where it's kind of dicey. And it's interesting to see here from Shopify Rebellion. They're actually starting with a solo Enigma. They're just going to allow Saberlight to get the denies, maybe just feed a little bit of farm onto Yamsun, but line up for this aggression up top, which their lineup can do quite quick.
They can. And Shopify for now just tri-laning the top lane. We'll see how long they want to keep this up. You can appreciate that though as well, right? Because the Clock Darkseer combination is extremely strong. Like that Iron Shell with Battery Assault, it's so hard to go against if you are Shopify at this top lane. So they do eventually end up getting rid of the tri-lane. They do bring down Crit to the bot lane, make sure Saberlight has a good lane himself. It seems like Shopify may be trying to secure first blood, but unable to find it this time around. And of course, meanwhile, mid lane, you've got Abed and Gunnar going at it as well. And I think the panel was talking about the fact that the DP should be able to have a decent enough lane here against the Tusk.
Yeah, it does come out a lot more even. DP is one of those heroes that can contest the Tusk quite nicely. So you should be able to get a lot of space going for yourself. We've seen Gunnar have spectacular performances this tour for nouns. He has been styling quite a fair bit, especially in stuff like Viper.
Oh.
So, up against Abed, who's been playing this Tusk a lot, and this is where you're approaching the end of tour. You've got a lot of data in how players play certain heroes. It gives you enough to kind of counteract. So I want to see whether or not this idea of the DP up against Tusk will work in favor of Gunnar in the end. So far, he is finding more CS, but he's copying a lot more harassment than you'd want to in this lane.
It certainly is. Of course, we did kind of mention it online as well, John, but this is a very important series for nouns in particular. If they need to basically win every series now to try and keep their major dreams alive, at least for the Lima Major. Shopify Rebellion, I believe they're just one series win away from basically guaranteed qualifying. Though I can't 100% say that yet, based on other matchups, but for nouns, they have to win every single series. And they've got 3 more left, this one included.
Yeah, they can't afford to, just drop this one. I think if they do lose this one, their tiebreaker contingency is TSM losing to Bait, which honestly,
pretty low
which
chance.
is happening later. So, if they lose here, they'll find out immediately whether or not they still have a shot, which I guess is kind of a blessing. You're not left in the dark, but yeah, it's much easier to just win on your own accord. So now it's going to be going all out. And again, it comes back to this draft. Something very different than what we've seen in NA so far. And so far, it is leading to a much more even start. No one really finding a huge advantage just yet. You were talking about that top lane with the Darkseer clock. That does take a few levels to really come online. And I think that early rotation just caused issues. They couldn't go for the early pulls for Lelis. He's getting one done now. So you can kind of soak up, try to hit that level 3 mark. And once you do hit level 3 on both of these heroes on the offlane for nouns, you can get aggressive. You can easily run down Fly if you find a space. You can try to run onto RTZ, although Nature's Call might be annoying if the blocks are good. So that can complicate things, but they do have to play it slower on the off and just kind of build into that level 3.
Right. How do you feel about the Sven pick as well? Because this is a hero that you don't get to see very often in the current meta. Do you like it? Like, it is against Prophet, it's against Enigma. Obviously, they have the Darkseer set up as well, so you have a nice stun to just kind of hold them all together. But it's not an easy combo to land, that's for sure.
No, it's not an easy combo, but it's such a strong combination to just connect once your Darkseer is ready to go. Like, Vac Wall into a Stormhammer, you're pretty happy. Fear actually looked happy about the Sven coming out. You know, he's like, yeah, Sven, yeah, with the Darkseer.
Hold on a minute, Lelis. Cutting off top lane, RTZ may get caught out. They've got the Darkseer combo with the clock, but Fly, he's going to deal so much damage back to Lelis. They just can't keep going. That last word damage with the Arcane Curse just proving to be way too much. Lelis barely getting out with his life intact, and Mu also just has to back his way out because Fly is just harassing the crap out of him.
Yeah, it just goes back to trying to run this up against a Nature's Prophet. Like, the Treants come out, and suddenly your battery assault's bouncing on them. You're not stunning up. RTZ's always got a creep wave on demand to block off the Ion Shell carrier and block off the battery assault. So getting aggressive there is a lot harder than you'd expect. And it doesn't get any simpler.
Oh, here we go. RTZ, he'll TP behind Mu, and Mu, he's going to try and fight Fly, but he understands he cannot survive. He did have level 1 point in Surge. RTZ didn't actually have any points in Sprout, so I suppose he just knew he wasn't getting away even with the Surge up. Just went for the man fight and ends up giving first blood to RTZ.
Now, a big win for Shopify Rebellion. That should... They've got a really strong lane up top, like uncontested farm. The good news is bot lane's going just as well for Yamsen here.
Here we go. Saberlight, he'll get stunned up by the cookie, but do they have the follow-up? Well, Yamsen, he already committed the stun, so can't really secure the kill. But like you said, for Yamsen, at least in terms of CS, he's having a great old time.
Yeah, it's shaping up. And again, the aggression coming out from Saberlight. You don't expect too much aggression in lane out with the Enigma, and it does take a lot of levels now for Marcy to kind of get the jump in. The angles just feel a lot tougher. Like that rebound range, Crit's not been able to land any. It's just, even at level 2, it's just too short.
I love the Marcy nerfs. It makes me so happy. She went from being able to jump the whole map to not being able to move. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really tough to work it in laning. That's what I hear. It's just not as popular right now on the 4. Another lane that's really been shaping up well for Nouns is Gunner's lane. He's having a decent enough lead over Abed, though.
Don't curse the man, John. Gunner, gonna get jumped on now. Does pop the Exorcism preemptively as he does not want to fight an Abed. Completely making sure it is wasted here as he does get back to the high ground with the shards. Nice little shards trick there from the Tusk, and well, there you go, Gunner. I mean, he could try to pressure the mid-tier 1 just a little bit. Problem is, Abed's going to do a decent job of just pushing out the creep wave if he does want to do so. In the meantime, Husky also shows up in the mid lane, but there's not really much he can do on the Snapfire at the moment. And they'll even TP Fly. In fact, cancel that. Fly does cancel his TP. But nevertheless, the Exorcism is going to be kind of wasted.
And not the best first use coming out for Gunner. I mean, he is lining up for the kills and wanting to get aggressive, but that does buy time for Shopify Rebellion. They know there's no threat of push, at least coming out from Gunner until that spell is back up. And that's a minute 40 of space for you to kind of play around. And we were talking about that mid difference. The offlane difference is even bigger with Mu and Saberlight. Like, that gap is going to hurt. You talked about Saberlight's Enigma just being this beast. He's going to get that build-up into the urn really quick. He's going to have some pretty good early presence, and with a threat of Black Hole, and your best reach for that is still just Lelis. I mean, until BKB, it's not the safest play for Saberlight.
Abed, well, he's rotated. Husky gonna cop the dispose here from Crit, or eventually Husky gonna have to turn around, but we'll go down to Abed. That'll be the Tusk's first kill of the game. Just helping Saberlight secure that lane even further, and I do go back to that point. I appreciate this build on this Enigma, because he's not your normal Enigma player that wants to go Greaves into like a blink. He does actually go Spirit Vessel and just run people down, and the amount of damage you pump out with just that Spirit Vessel alone, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a ton of damage. I think we've seen the same coming out from Mu and his Beastmaster build-up. He does tend to kind of go for that Spirit Vessel as well, so it's just a lot of early presence that you can't really handle. And the push coming out already from Saberlight down bot, Fortify, Expended, Siege creep up. They're going to be able to find that tower real quick. They're trying to shove in top, but it's just not as quick without something like Exorcism to play with.
Certainly is not. Mid lane, Gunnar not able to secure anything here in the mid lane. I believe he was trying to go on fly there for a moment. Arbit still sticking around as well, making sure that tier 1 mid tower does remain defended. Nothing that you can do without that Exorcism up, though Gunnar does have a backup in 5, but he will need the backup to be able to commit it. They are still pressuring the top tier 1 as well. So perhaps you could kind of force the Darkseer clock to move into the mid lane and start applying that pressure. But bot lane, there's a black hole, Saberlight. He's got Yamson and he found Husky. And there's that earn out. Rebound from crit, not going to land. Husky's going to be okay. But you got the main target anyway. You've got the Sven.
And that's the one thing with this lineup. Once you are split up, you know there's no rotations coming in. You've got a pretty clean angle for the black hole this game. And Saberlight just gets it done. Really great first use of the spell, still shoving it down bot, not giving any room
Arteezy
for Yamsum to farm it.
This is a pretty big pick-off though. Arteezy does get caught. They'll drop the wall as well. Arteezy trying to run for his life here. He needs some help and it's not coming. Moon will take the kill with the Iron Shell damage. I suppose you could call that an even trade across the map.
It works out. Like you slow down Arteezy while you also sacrifice Yamson. You take that trade, you start to invade that top jungle to make space from your bot jungle being lost. There's still that clump up from Shopify down bot, but jumping Husky isn't really the biggest deal in the world. Does feel like the next target for both teams should be the mid. They've got pretty good ways of clearing that out quick. Gunnar still has his Exo ready. So if they see an opportunity to clump up, and the team fight is shaping up. And, you know, just a rather even game so far, going into the 10-minute mark. If you remember our odds from esportsbet.io, it was around 4.37 up against 1.17.
Even more even now.
1.19. Oh,
3.37 to 1.3.
Yeah, I mean, this is a close match. Probably one of the closer matches, again, within the top 3 teams of NA. So this should be the big challenge for Shopify Rebellion, and where they really get tested, and where Nouns has to prove it themselves, where Nouns has to cling on for that hope to Lima. And we said it at the start, Mike, they need to win every series. If they lose this one, they have to count in TSM, somehow losing to Bait. Again, the odds for that one is even lower.
I don't want to see those yet. Let's we'll leave those ones for later. But there you go. The odds at the very least not heavily favored one way or the other, which is always nice to see. You always know you're in for a good match when it's a bit more even. Still 1-3, 1k advantage the way of Nouns at the moment. Neither team finding the mid-tier 1 tower yet, but there is going to be a group up from both sides. Smoke up here with Lelis and Husky. They've got the hookshot available on Lelis. Arbet's a tough target, but they might be able to try and secure crit. Smoke is broken though. Crit did see the clockwork and immediately backs his way out. Instead, they're heading down towards the bottom side of the map to see if they can find Saberlight. Thing is, he's got a mech up now. He doesn't have Black Hole, but you've got to be a little bit cautious. He's got the Eidolons available. They're going to kiss out. Oh, look at the blocks! He's not going to allow the hook shot. He preemptively blocks knowing it's coming, and now topside. Moo's been caught out. Perfect play from Shopify. And that's I'm telling you, Saberlight, he's so good on these micro heroes.
Yeah, I mean, he's just... The clockwork's a big answer to Enigma, but if you can micro your Eidolons, then it's really hard to just find that angle, and he just ensures. He knows he's getting jumped. He saw the flare come out. He backs off in the nick of time, and now it's just, well, what would have been an offlane for offlane trade now just heavily favors Shopify Rebellion. And they've been also slowly chipping away at that mid, down to 482 HP. Just a little bit more, and they could just easily clear out. Heck, they've even got the black hole ready in Saberlight if they want to make a play somewhere.
Yeah, Gunnar, it looks like he's the target here in the mid lane. Husky's going to rotate over, but he doesn't have kisses up anymore. Crit is still waiting in that tree line to make a nice rebound in. Just set up here for Saberlight if he can, but Gunnar, very good positioning, making sure he does not get caught with his pants down. Keep in mind, he is the highest net worth on the board right now, so he certainly cannot afford to die at the moment to Shopify. In fact, Yamson now the highest net worth on the board as the Sven. So at the very least, net worth is still going the way of Nouns, but in terms of the way they're moving around the map, Shopify do seem like the stronger and more aggressive team. And I suppose that may go back to draft because you always have the presence of this Nature's Prophet who can just TP in behind the team fight as well. But still, you've got to appreciate Shopify, even with a very slight net worth disadvantage, it doesn't seem like they're afraid to force fights.
Nah, they just have a lot of early presence coming out. They've got a lot of output with Abed. They've got the mobility on hand. Nouns does have really good play as well, but it does feel like you're going to need something like a Blink initiation at some point. Maybe once Moose has his defensive item, the Greaves, you can start to expect Darkseer, Blink along with, down the line, the Ags. And then you can really start to force these bigger team fights, look for these pickoffs much more often. Until that point, once you commit one of your big spells, let's say Exo or Wall, then you just kind of back off and farm. And that is where Yamsen is shining. I mean, this is a Sven with the Mask of Madness up, so it doesn't take too long to farm up. Shopify are going for a smoke play, though.
Yeah, Saberlight waiting in that tree line. Shopify hoping someone moves in to defend this mid-tier 1, and Gunner is moving in. Again, he's a primary target here. If Shopify Rebellion can catch him. Rocket Flare from Lelis. Hookshot those off the mark. Probably counting his blessings, he kind of missed that one when he finds out who's behind that tree line. A Saberlight now, he does get caught out. That's a pretty big target if they can find him. And look at the damage output. Saberlight still trying to run, but the wall's down now. Vacuum back in. They've got Fly as well. Problem is they've lost Gunner. Crit, he's still going. Meanwhile, Fly does pick off Lelis from the grave. In goes Husky with a nice cookie. Abed's going to try and help with the snowball, but he's moving right back towards Yamsun. This is not where they want to be right now. Shopify need to run. A double stun. The rebound barely helping out. And it seems like now they will not be able to secure the kill onto Abed. As he does manage to back out off the back of Crit's help. So what was that? A 2-for-2 trade. Abed still trying. Does move in onto Mu. Does surge away though. Saberlight's going to move right back in with Fly. Keep in mind they still have the black hole. So they're happy to keep this fight going. But everyone else from Nouns, they do back off.
Yeah, that was really interesting to see unfold. They plant a forward ward from Shopify Rebellion under the sentry vision of Nouns. So they know something's up. They know someone's sneaking behind. And that allowed that angle with a flare coming through from Lelis, making it a really awkward fight, cutting off Saberlight early on. You're still fairly happy on Shopify Rebellion. Oh.
Yeah, they've got Fly. Easy silencer kill there for Lelis. That Gunner was the one who took it with the Spirit Siphon. 4-6 now, 1k net worth lead, still the way of Nouns. Shopify, it does feel like they really want to get this black hole on cooldown, but they're just not finding any angles.
I don't think it's too big to not have to use that black hole. You find the mid-tier 1 faster, you're going to be forcing now to try and clump up around mid while still having black hole. I mean, you've got an option for a really big defensive fight for Shopify to play with. And you're giving a bit of a map disadvantage to Nouns, just not having that mid control. They are still hunting here, though.
He might go for a solo pick-off on Husky. Husky does have help around the corner. Lelis does get a Rocket Flare off to give some vision. Arteezy, he's moved in, but with the Rocket Flare vision they had, Husky jukes them out very easily. That Arteezy, he won't mind too much. He likes to farm the bottom side of the map anyway as his Prophet. Top of the net worth bar currently is Arteezy. Happy days for him. Nouns, they'll just take their time to back out of there. Lelis, they'll get scouted out by the Treants, but well, actually it might be a threat. Abed's moving in. The Tusk is here. Hookshot is up if he wants to try and escape with that route. Hook is there onto Husky. Saberlight not going to be able to cut him off. And so Lelis still able to survive.
Yeah, they managed to just waste a little bit of time. As long as they're dodging out, there's just so much space coming out for Yamsen, space for Gunner, and really space for Mu to finish up his durability. He's got the mech going into that Guardian Greaves. And afterwards, expecting the Blink, expecting the Ags at some point, just to have more presence in these team fights. And this is just space Nouns enjoys. Sure, you're giving a lot of farm out to Arteezy, but you are also getting a lot of space in Yamsen, and it does feel like the Sven Darkseer combo is a lot scarier on paper when it does connect, so the investment just feels much more worthwhile. And Shopify Rebellion are just trying to prevent that, but really not finding the heroes they'd wanted. They're grouping up. Should go for a smoke play, perhaps. They've gotten on Fly, but they don't pop it yet.
They're just checking Roshan to make sure that Nouns aren't trying to do something sneaky. Topside, they did see Mu on the Darkseer, but he does back himself up just a little bit. Get out of that creep vision. Treants will scout him out eventually, but Mu, he'll just farm them up. He doesn't mind. They do have vision over Shopify, so they kind of know exactly where they are at the moment. Arbed is kind of showing in that mid-wave. And so with that, another attempt here from Shopify, not really going to work out. But I suppose at the end of the day, as long as RTZ's farming, you don't really mind. And now with the Gleipnir up, now they might really want to fight. And Crit's having a look around. Yamsen's going to see him, but this could be bait. Crit can have the help there at any moment. Falling low, still running away though with the rebound. He'll be just fine. Husky unable to reach with the scatter blast as well. Meanwhile, to the northern side, Mu trying to cut them off, it seems. Hookshot is there. Who's he caught? It's going to be Arbed. That's a big target, but he's got a BKB available, so the kisses, they'll do nothing. And with the global silence, they cannot follow up. One down so far for Nouns. And in comes Shopify. They want a bit more for their trouble. Yamsun, he'll move in onto Arbed, but the snowball, it's going to buy some time. Here comes Arteezy with the Gleipnir up. They'll drop the wall, but Mu's in huge trouble on that Darkseer. Problem is Arbed, he has gone too deep. So they will lose the Tusk. Gunnar wants a bit more for his trouble. The Enigma, though, he does have Black Hole available if they want to try and commit it onto Gunnar. But Gunnar will back his way out. Oh boy. That'll be enough. A 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Shopify Rebellion. Arbed, though, getting picked off on the Tusk, not a great feeling.
I mean, he snowballed up to Yamsen. Yamsen just ran back, kind of baited him in a little bit. You're still happy overall on Shopify Rebellion. They forced out a really early usage from that God Strand on Yamsen. He didn't quite have his blink on hand to jump on top with that. If he did gap close a little bit better, they might have been able to find a lot more in that fight for Nouns. And they did force out spells. Like Exo is down, God Strand's down, Wall of Replica's down. It's an opening for Shopify Rebellion. The only thing they had to pop really was Global Silence, along with crits Unleash, but in the support Marcy, you don't really mind that too much. So they still have this Black Hole to play with. We'll just smoke up and hunt.
It's always that fear of God with the Black Hole, isn't it? Just, you'd never know when it's coming. Here we go again. Shopify. 3-man smoke up. Right into that Radiant Triangle they go. Nouns, they're reading the map very, very effectively here. Constantly avoiding Shopify. Not getting caught with their pants down quite yet. In fact, Nouns, I suppose in this instance, could go for a counter smoke if they really want. Lelis does have one up. And they may just. Try and secure that power rune first at the 20-minute mark, see if they'll get lucky. And they do. Gunnar will take the invis. Shopify. Still pretty close to each other. Arbed's the furthest. But the thing is, they've got to guess he's in that tree line. Instead, they'll head up north here, Nouns. Crit's the closest target for them. Arbed's still hanging around in that left tree line. Mu, gonna get jumped. Arbed's moving in to try and get the damage out. Mu, he'll go for a surge, but there's your snowball out from Arbed. He'll drop the wall, though, on this Darkseer, trying to make a way to fight back. He's surviving just a little bit longer, but not long enough. He will go down once again. And Lelis, he was kind of being just damaged here by Saberlight. He couldn't move in to help out.
Yeah, they got cut off just a little bit too far forward from Nouns. They did bait out the Global Silence, which is pretty big commitment just for Mu. So this time it's Nouns that could have some counterplay despite dropping the wall. And they can play with kisses safely. They might be able to find crit if he's not careful, but a rebound still up. He's got protection.
Ooh, hooks off the mark as well. Crit, immediate voice line. Meanwhile, towards the south, Arteezy, he's got Yamsun. That is a huge target. That's your pos one, Sven. And with the Spirit Vessel out, Yamsun, he's going to try to run, but the damage output, and now the Black Hole. Gunner's been caught, though Saberlight, he will drop, but Arteezy might be able to get the job done himself. Gunner's still running. Siphon's out. 4-staff away, but the Gleipnir going to hold him down longer. Arbed, has he gone too far now? It doesn't seem like they've got the damage. Arbed's BKB's about to wear off, and it seems like he is set to fall. Hands up. He knows he's dead. Gunnar will take the kill. It's a 2-for-1 trade. They find the pos 1 Sven, but they lose a pos 2 Tusk and a pos 3 Enigma. I suppose in some sense you call that worth for Nouns.
It is worth it for Nouns. A little bit unfortunate for Yamsen. He had his Quelling Blade in the backpack. Like, while he was caught in that sprout, his Quelling Blade was just switched in. He's like, oh boy, I'm being junked by the NP. I need to cut trees. Didn't quite have it. If he did, he might have been able to stall more. You know, his team was on the way, and they just play around his durability.
This is not a fun time for a silencer. When the Clockwork's got Iron Shore to help out as well, it's a very, very painful time. In fact, he doesn't even have it. He doesn't need it. Yamsen's there to back him up. Happily taking the kill on the Sven. Working on towards his BKB now on that Sven as well. And so 8 to 10 now, 1k advantage still standing for Nouns. Feels like it's been this way the whole game. As they go for more. Husky on the front side. Trying to scout out somebody from Shopify, but they do sit behind the tree line. And with that, it seems like Nouns, they've had enough. Shopify, more than happy to continue buying time for Arteezy, who's just out of control at this point on the net worth graph. Like, he's 13.5k net worth, just about 3k ahead of the second net worth, which is Gunnar. And the thing is with this profit, is that the late game scaling is just so insane. It really never gets old.
Yeah, it just has so many ways of having a lot of impact, and they just haven't really stopped Arteezy from playing the game he wants. I mean, they've pressured... Shopify has managed to pressure Yamson so much more in comparison to Nouns on Arteezy. And if it comes down to that core-to-core matchup, it's going to be a little bit tough. I do like how Nouns itemized against that, although Shopify are going for a smoke play.
Oh, they'd love Gunnar. He got away last time, but can he get away this time? Rebound is there. They'll try to help him out, but Gunnar's just dropping so darn low. And with the Gleipnir follow-up, he could not move. Kisses are out, though. They're going to try and turn this one around, but Black Hole is up, and now the hookshot's been wasted. Lelis, he ends up hooking some treants. Arteezy blocks the way. That should be another kill to go the way of Shopify. And with that, Yamson, he's going to try. Look at the damage output. Saberlight, no, he's still running. Arteezy, he's onto a triple. Can he find some more? He's on a Husky now. Never mind, he wants to move first, but the Darkseer is going to surge, but look at the Sprout. It does connect. He is gone. That'll be an ultra kill for Arteezy. 1 kill from a Rampage, but he won't have the option. He won't die Fountain. He'll play it safe. Nevertheless, 4 down for Nouns and Shopify. They'll be happy with that.
Yeah, it didn't even need to pull out the Black Hole. Saberlight hasn't had the need to have that spell out. Nouns, it's just so tough when you get jumped like that. Like, with the silences coming out with the global sounds, you don't have a self-dispel on hand. Lotus Orb is up now in Gunnar, but you really need the BKBs to be up and running to have some counterplay here. Roshan, not going to take too long for Shopify Rebellion to find. Scan does reveal them, but without that wall, doesn't feel like a fight that you can really take on Nouns' end. So 2k lead for Shopify Rebellion, going up to 3k now. Blink up on Abed. So you can just easily dance around now with his snowball to back out or just jump in as well. A ton of options for play, whereas for Nouns, they still need farm. They need that BKB up on Yamson. They need the BKB on Gunnar as well. Like the Lotus, it's nice. It might not cut it eventually still with all the control they have beyond just the silence.
Uh-oh. Speaking of blinks, Sean, Saberlight's got one on the way. Now things ultimately much scarier. Lelis. There's 3 heroes there. That's not safe, Lelis. I mean, he does have some backup. Gunnar is around the corner along with Moo. They're trying to crit. Saberlight will jump in with the Midnight Pulse. Looks like Lelis is copying a bit too much damage, and his team doesn't seem to want to be there to back him up. Global Silence and now Arteezy. He'll cut off the Darkseer. Moo's been caught out. He'll try for a surge, but the Dispo is back their way, and now the Walrus Punch to really hold him down. 2 down for the side of Nouns, and look at the mass TPs from Shopify. Just going all across the map. Very, very good map control here from Shopify. Great coordination as well, and well, it seems like bottom lane, they want to try for Gunnar. They've got that Black Hole with the blink up for surprise. Arteezy, he's caught a couple, but Arteezy, he's been caught out. He does have that secondary life. Here comes the Black Hole. Saberlight, he's caught the Sven. Yamson's gone again. Gunnar trying to run. Can they cut him off? Abed, he'll be there with the Walrus Punch very, very soon, and Gunnar, no way of surviving through this one. He will drop. 3 down again for Nouns. And the game is just getting so much more difficult as time goes on.
I mean, it just feels like there are openings here for Nouns, but Shopify are just taking so much action. They're the ones dictating this match right now. They're the ones running around, being aggressive. And Nouns, when we see them get aggressive, like this movement out with Moo and with Lelis, I mean, they're still trying to play around that threat of Clockwork with Iron Shell, but the real counter is just to drag 2 heroes on top. Like every time they jump, there's always someone to back up on Shopify Rebellion, split the damage, prevent the battery assault from just chain stunning, and just survive through it. And the threat's just completely gone. Tier 2 tower now, going down the way of Shopify Rebellion. Age is still up for 2.5 minutes. Nullifier up on Arteezy. Nouns, they're not completely out of it. They are 9k behind, and Most of that is on Arteezy, so it's one hero way ahead of everyone else, which makes this game maybe a little bit more manageable, as we have seen Arteezy can die, or at least get close to dying, if Yamsen can just lock in, but until that BKB is up, it just feels really tough to see that happening.
It certainly does. And now the mid-tier 2 tower under siege. Arteezy will get right to work, and well, nouns, they don't seem confident. Although I say that, there is going to be a 4-man smoke and a line drawn through the mid-river. Perhaps trying to wrap around on the backside, just surprise them here on the side of Shopify. They know Black Hole's not up, but they do have the Global Silence. Nouns still hanging around that river area. Keep in mind, Arteezy still does have the Aegis up, so he's got that secondary life. And Nouns, they have not moved in. Shopify are the ones who move into that Radiant Triangle. There's a hook shot though. Who have they got? It's going to be Saberlight on the Enigma. Arbit's going to try and help, but the Enigma's gone. Arbit trying to run now. Dispose out. Yamsun trying to get the damage up, but Arbit, he'll just TP. Literally just TP in front of them with his BKB. At the very least, they do also catch out Fly. Crit is still around the area, but they don't have vision on him. So he will also be able to TP out just fine. A 2 for nothing, though. I suppose you can't be too upset about that if you're Nouns.
You're pretty happy on Nouns, and it's not the biggest kill. You definitely want to kill Arteezy, but again, with that protection of Aegis, whether or not you actually have enough to knock him down 2 times is a different question. So they find decent enough pickoffs. Saberlight's a pretty good network here to take down. And, you know, they force some BKB uses. It's down to 6 seconds now for Abed. A little bit more of a window for Nouns to play around. And, you know, they're reaching this point where they are going to be a little bit more durable, no?
Yeah, they have caught out Husky mid lane. With that nullify, there is no escape for Husky. Another nice kill here for Arteezy now. 10-1 and 6 on this Nature's Prophet. Fantastic game so far from the man. You've seen how hard they've made it for Lelis as well. Like the Eidolons and the trains just constantly blocking his hookshot angles. It's going to be so frustrating for the clock. Just had no gameplay this game. Well, now they might have a chance to fight Shopify again if they really want. Silence is still down here on Fly. Hookshot is there. They found Arteezy. That's a huge target. Aegis just expired. But can they get the damage? With the BKB, it's too hard. Lelis will just go down. And in comes Saberlight. They want Yamsun. BKB is there, but the Black Hole's immediate. They will put a stop to it, though. Maybe Yamsun could have a chance to try and fight this, but no. The damage is just so high. He has no chance.
What?
The wall, the back, it's all very nice. Arteezy! Arteezy's gone. But it's still a 4-for-1 trade. It is not worth it for Nouns. Just too much given up for a profit.
Yeah, it's just so awkward. They commit so hard on Yamsen coming in. They're not quite ready to back him up. And he's forced to run around with his BKB plus his God's Strength up and running. Like, it's not the circumstance you want to see that Sven. He gets kited around so easily in unideal circumstances. And even with that kill on Arteezy, it's not enough to stop this push. You still have the Enigma, you have the Eidolons. You can still force something in. Fortify will come out to stall it out just for a moment. But for Nouns, this game just gets tougher and tougher. They don't have the wall to play with for this high ground defense. The side of Shopify will just go back and reset. Probably just wait out the next Aegis timing in a minute 50. See if that comes out any earlier for them. For Nouns now, they've got to find a way to coordinate a little bit better. They're going for these jumps, and again, we've seen this for a while where they're connecting as 2, connecting as 3. They need to connect as a team. They'll go for a full smoke now, but they don't have certain big spells just yet.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough affair here for Nouns. We'll see what they can get done. They've got to try something. That previous teamfight was very unfortunate as well because Lelis did not get there in time for the Cogs pushback on Arteezy into the stun of the Sven. Had he gotten that, they may have been able to burst him down to the Prophet. Speaking of the Devil, Arteezy top lane has been spotted. He has TP, not teleport, but a TP scroll. Oh, Scan's right on top as well. Can they get the hook? Lelis, he's going to try. Oh, he doesn't go for the blind hook shot. Nice attempt, I suppose. He was probably half a second away from landing that.
Yeah, just a game of tiny margins right now coming out for Nouns. They need every little thing they can get, but Shopify are just making it so hard to find that opening. Still, they've got this blink up now on Mu. So more options to kind of jump in with the Vac wall combination. You've got the follow-up now on Yamsen with his own blink, and he is going for the damage output. He's going for that full Daedalus, kind of fix some of those damage issues we saw earlier on, that's where things can start to get ridiculous with his Sven. And mind you, the Wall of Replica Illusions does actually do a lot. So if they manage to time their fight well, it's all about just execution now. Like, when does Fly decide to use his Global Silence? Can Nouns time their BKBs to purge that off and come in? It's all a lot of back and forths.
It certainly is. Arteezy, bottom tier 3 under siege. Lela's going to go for a hook shot. Team is not going to be there to back him up, though. Just kind of moved in on his own, and I suppose it does somewhat put an end to the push, but now you've wasted kisses as well. So that's down for 100 seconds, and Shopify, they immediately smoke up as 5. Roshan is not up for another 40 seconds. Shopify desperately wanting a fight now, knowing those spells are down. Nobody from Nouns are going to show, though. They all stand on the high ground of that Radiant base. But Shopify will still have time. If they scout out Roshan immediately, they'll be able to take it without the kisses being up. And that's a pretty big deal here for them. Going to make the fight that much more challenging for Nouns. Just a matter of whether they can spot it out in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a few seconds away. For Nouns, this team fight can be a lot tricky. This area is just completely under Shopify's control with that ward up. Haven't been able to get a D ward out from Nouns' end. It's again, it's just all about execution. You've got to be able to jump in, get these stuns off, kind of watch the timing of the silencer. In fact, if you manage to take out Fly first, that opens up the fight in a big way. Whether or not you find Fly is a different question. As Roche does begin, Flare will scout out, but it falls really quick with the output they have on hand.
Yeah, that tag team makes it just too easy. That'll be it. That'll be Roshan, at least the second one, going the way of Shopify Rebellion. They'll hand over everything to Arteezy. Make sure they keep him happy. Nouns, I mean, they did move out into their own jungle just to get a bit of farm here onto Yamsun. Not too much, though. Basically only one camp being taken. The most annoying part as well is these trains are just constantly running at them. So there's always information being provided here by Arteezy. It's just so hard for Nouns to be able to securely farm, knowing that Shopify know exactly where they are. As it seems like Yamsun wants to go full damage. Trying to go for a Daedalus build-up now. He'll pick up the Chrysalis, but in comes Arteezy. Spread out on Lilith. The cookie will save. Keep in mind, Arteezy does have that level 20 talent, so he does leash with the Sprout. Very, very scary for anyone involved. For now, Nouns not going to get picked off. A 13k advantage for Shopify Rebellion. To make matters even harder for Nouns, Arteezy does have a Satanic up and on the way. So now, you really want to kill him, it's not going to be too easy. He's got a secondary life plus a Satanic.
So he's got a lot of durability on hand. And Nouns, it still feels like they're lacking a lot of damage output. At the least Lelis, he's got his hags up, so overclocking is available. A little bit more play, a little bit more stun coming out with a wider hook shot there as well. And that should help the cause. You're also working on to move with his shard, with a little bit more coming out. A nice little slow out with a surge at the very least. But their solution still is just playing defensively, and it just gives so much for Shopify Rebellion to play with. Like, again, they've got control of the map. They're going for another smoke out.
Oh, here we go, crit. Oh, he sees Yamsun. Do they see the Sven? Did they miss out? I think they may have.
Night vision.
Oh, the night vision kicking in. What a shame. Yamsun, he was free real estate. Instead, they try for Lelis, but he's fine to back out, and now a smoke. Yamsun and Lelis going to try and pick somebody off. Fly will get caught out here with a stun. Yamsun trying to burst him down, but no, the snowball. Arbet's there to save the day. The silencer, though, hook shot. It'll keep him alive a little bit longer, but Fly, he'll get the global silence off, and now the black hole. Saberlight puts them both in. 3 down for Nouns. A disastrous fight for Nouns. As Arbet, he will go for more. Snowball will be returned right back the way of the Tusk. Kisses will get going. It's not going to matter. Disposes out onto Arbet. And poor old Gunner, he is forced to fight through this. It is not going to work in his favor. And there are no buybacks available.
It just feels so awkward. And Nouns are finding small openings, but overall, Shopify Rebellion, their positioning, their decision-making just feels like it's on a higher level in comparison to Nouns at the moment. Like, the coordination's much stronger. Nouns, It feels like they're pressured to come in and force these fights in unideal circumstances where it's Shopify that's actually setting up. And we need to see nouns be able to do that instead. They need to be the ones getting these smokes out. With at least 2 sets of racks down, it's going to be a little bit tougher. And the push just keeps going. I mean, you have a Marcy combination with a physical core. It doesn't take too long to melt objectives.
It certainly doesn't. It's just so hard, that last team fight. Like, they just wanted that global silence gone. And Arbet just saves the day with a snowball. And he just gets it off just in the nick of time. Like, it's just so rough. And Shopify, there'll be 2 racks up now. They won't go for the Megas. They won't go for that 3rd racks quite yet. They'll play it safe. Still a minute 15 left on the Aegis if they want to try in a bit. But it seems like they may just let it expire. That'll allow Nouns to still have a chance in this game 1 to pull off a pretty big comeback, but it would have to be a huge comeback. Keep in mind, you do have the gobble up now, so a bit more play with the vacuum.
Oh.
Arbet, he's going to jump in. Overclocking was just used by Lelis, but he's gone. No buyback.
Yeah, that's a big take. At the least, respawns aren't too long here for Lelis. So he should be back up when the next shove-in comes in from Shopify Rebellion. And they still haven't revealed that gobble up coming out from Husky. So you've got really good combinations. Maybe just toss Moo up front, try to get the Vac wall. Or really Yamson, just get him in when they're grouped up, get the Stormhammer off, and hope for some burst with a mini crit from the Crystallis. You don't have that full Daedalus up yet. So the burst output just isn't quite at its max potential.
Keep in mind, Black Hole's back up in 15. So it's not going to be an easy defense. And Arteezy, he's just so confident. Aegis has got 10 seconds left. Problem is the Rax is gone, so Megas are incoming. How do you do it now? Almost 30k behind on this Radiant side. They are not calling it yet. There might be 1 team fight left in them. And they've basically got to land everything perfectly to make that team fight work. Oh boy. Shopify, though, they've just been so clean this game, and they'll head down bot. They'll see Moo on that Darkseer. Saberlight's going to move in. Arbet will do so as well. Onto Lelis. They've got the Darkseer held down for a moment, but he's going to go for a run, even with that Nullifier on him. And now Lelis trying to hookshot back towards his team, but he will drop. So it's a 4v5 scenario now for Now to try and find a way to defend this. They'll move in. Arteezy getting started on the base once again. Moo is there. Gobble up. No, it's way off the mark. And now the Black Hole. Oh, they walked right into it. That's it. GG's called. Ouch.
Oh, boy. I mean, Shopify Rebellion, they did get challenged a bit by Nouns here, but every single team fight that came out, every single clash that would come out was always